Good afternoon, board members. This is Ben Rarick with your video pre-briefing for the September 10th and 11th meeting in Spokane. Wanted to remind you that this meeting is occurring on a Thursday and a Friday, so that's a little change in routine for us. However, we have scheduled some optional activities for board members on Wednesday if they so choose. Those include a couple of school visits in the afternoon, as well as an opportunity to see a film called Most Likely to Succeed, which will be showing at Whitworth University that evening. Okay, so first let's take a look at the action items for this meeting. There are 6 action items listed on your agenda. I would like to call your attention to 4 of them. The first item is the approval of the core agency budget. This budget looks very similar to prior year budgets. And you will find it on page 140 of the packet. If you have any questions about that budget, I'd appreciate the questions beforehand, particularly if it involves any research on my part. Item number 4 is a proposed letter from the board addressed to the legislature and the governor about recent events relating to the McCleary court case. That letter is in your online packet, and when the email goes out, you will receive a link directly to that letter. But I encourage you probably to start there and review that letter first in your online packet. Number 5 is the position statement involving the Achievement Index and its use in the accountability system. You'll remember we discussed this at the last meeting. The position statement's on page 130 of your packet, but I would like you to focus your attentions on the top 2 bullets on page 131. That's really where the unresolved issues were, and there's been a small group of members deliberating on that, and there's been a little bit of wordsmithing, so please take a look at those top 2 bullets. And finally, item number 6 is the position statement that you had in your August packet pertaining to cut scores. After further discussion, the vice chair has decided not to try to move forward with that position statement at this time. You see it listed here because you took a motion at the last board meeting to put it on the agenda for the next meeting, so it does show up on your agenda, but it is the intent of the acting chair at this meeting to take it off the agenda. Okay, so in addition to the action items, I also want to draw your attention to 3 memorandum in the packet that are a little more preparation intensive. Let's start with on page 65 of your packet. Linda Drake has prepared a comprehensive memorandum on the status of competency-based crediting as it relates to meeting the needs of students who may be in credit deficient situations and engaging in credit retrieval programs. This is a follow-on to some of the discussions that the board had in July, and we will be having a panel which will include Alan Burke from WASDA, Scott Seaman from AWSP, and some other local representatives. Given the imminent strike in Spokane, we haven't been successful in getting a teacher, but we may in fact be able to secure a student as well for this panel. I would also ask you to take a look at page 114 of your packet. This is a memorandum by Dr. Parr and Parker Teed that goes into greater depth on some of the preliminary data that you received at your August meeting on SBAC. So they look in a detailed manner at the parent refusal data, some of the trends that we see in that data, as well as analyze the final SBAC results and analyze to what extent we can or can't compare those results to other states around the nation who are also engaged in the SBAC consortium. So I really very much recommend that memorandum to you, which is again on page 114. And finally, I would ask you to take a look and spend some time on page 38 of your packet. Jack Archer has done a good job of compiling and reviewing all of the board's previous legislative priorities and putting a status update on those as a foundation for discussing or beginning to discuss what our legislative priorities might be for the 2016 session. So I recommend those materials to you beginning on page 38. And then on page 63 of the packet, which is essentially the end of that tab, I have assembled a kind of a rough draft, if you will, of a 6-month work plan which should reflect the discussions the executive committee has had about the trajectory of the work over the 6 months. And I want to stress that I think we'll probably be making some adjustments to that over the next year, but at least to give people a sense for where the board is headed relative to the discussions that were had in July. This will also be a great opportunity to dialogue with students. So we have several panels that involve students at this meeting, ranging on issues from their SBAC experience to high school crediting and a number of others as well. So really looking forward to that. I wanted to remind you that we will have a community forum on Thursday night at Ferris High School, which is just down the road from the ESD, so I hope you can join us. We will have our executive committee elections at this meeting. We're going to visit a couple of charter schools on Friday, and they will be about a week old at that point. We will have an opportunity to dialogue with Susan Weed, who is a Pullman School Board member and the State Board's appointment to the state's Facilities Advisory Committee, on lunch on Thursday. So be thinking of questions you want to ask her. And also we want to officially welcome Mona Bailey, who will be sworn in at this meeting. This will be her first official full meeting with the State Board of Ed. So we look forward to seeing you in Spokane next week.